European military integration, even if others on the continent aren't yet. European Commission President Jean-Claude Juncker has repeatedly floated the idea of an EU army, only to be met with either ridicule or awkward silence. That remains the case even as the UK, a perennial foe of the idea, is on its way out of the Union. There's little agreement among remaining member states over what exactly such a force would look like and which capabilities national armed forces would give up as a result. And so progress has been slow going. This March, the European Union created a joint military headquarters, but it's only in charge of training missions in Somalia, Mali, and the Central African Republic and has a meager staff of 30. Other multinational concepts have been designed, such as the Nordic Battle Group, a small 2,400 troop rapid reaction force formed by the Baltic states and several Nordic countries and the Netherlands, and Britain's Joint Expeditionary Force, a mini NATO whose members include the Baltic states, Sweden, and Finland. But in the absence of suitable deployment opportunities, such operations-based teams may as well not exist. But under the bland label of the Framework Nations concept, Germany has been at work on something far more ambitious, the creation of what is essentially a Bundes-led network of European mini-armies. The initiative came out of the weakness of the Bundes, said Justyna Gotkowska, a Northern Europe security analyst at Poland's Center for Eastern Studies think tank. The Germans realized that the Bundes needed to fill gaps in its land forces in order to gain political and military influence within NATO. An assist from junior partners may be Germany's best shot at bulking out its military quickly, and German-led mini-armies may be Europe's most realistic option if it's to get serious about joint security. It's an attempt to prevent joint European security from completely failing, Massala said. Gaps in the Bundes is an understatement. In 1989, the West German government spent 2.7% of GDP on defense, but by 2000 spending had dropped to 1.4%, where it remained for years. Indeed, between 2013 and 2016 defense spending was stuck at 1.2%, far from NATO's 2% benchmark. In a 2014 report to the Bundestag, the German parliament, the Bundes inspectors general presented a woeful picture. Most of the Navy's helicopters were not working, and of the Army's 64 helicopters, only 18 were usable. And while the Cold War Bundes had consisted of 370,000 troops, by last summer it was only 176,015 men and women strong. Since then the Bundes has grown to more than 178,000 active duty troops. Last year the government increased funding by 4.2%, and this year defense spending will grow by 8%. But Germany still lags far behind France and the UK as a military power. And boosting defense spending is not uncontroversial in Germany, which is wary of its history as a military power. Foreign Minister Sigmar Gabriel recently said it was completely unrealistic to think that Germany would reach NATO's defense spending benchmark of 2% of GDP, even though nearly all of Germany's allies, from smaller European countries to the United States, are urging it to play a larger military role in the world. Germany may not yet have the political will to expand its military forces on the scale that many are hoping for, but what it has had since 2013 is the Framework Nations concept. For Germany, the idea is to share its resources with smaller countries in exchange for the use of their troops. For these smaller countries, the initiative is a way of getting Germany more involved in European security while sidestepping the tricky politics of Germany military expansion. For these smaller countries, the initiative is a way of getting Germany more involved in European security while sidestepping the tricky politics of Germany military expansion. It's a move towards more European military independence, Massala said. The UK and France are not available to take a lead in European security. The UK is on a collision course with its EU allies, while France, a military heavyweight, has often been the reluctant participant in multinational efforts within NATO. That leaves Germany, he said. Operationally, The resulting binational units are more deployable because they're permanent. Most multinational units have so far been ad hoc. Crucially for the junior partners, it also amplifies their military muscle. And should Germany decide to deploy an integrated unit, it could only do so with the junior partners' consent. Of course, since 1945 Germany has been extraordinarily reluctant to deploy its military abroad, until 1990 even barring the Bundeswehr from foreign deployments. Indeed, junior partners, and potential junior partners, hope that the Framework Nations arrangement will make Germany take on more responsibility for European security. So far, Germany and its multinational mini-armies remain only that, small-scale initiatives, far removed from a full-fledged European army. But the initiative is likely to grow. Germany's partners have been touting the practical benefits of integration. For Romania and the Czech Republic, it means bringing their troops to the same level of training as the German military. For the Netherlands, it has meant regaining tank capabilities. The Dutch had sold the last of their tanks in 2011, but the 40